Now, Jason Nichols joins me. He's a senior lecturer in the African American Studies Department at the University of Maryland, College Park. Thank you very much for your time, Jason. Now, the road to Juneteenth becoming a holiday or making it a reality has been a long one. Tell us how we got here.
Well, Juneteenth has been celebrated for a long time, particularly in Texas, but other parts of the country have also celebrated either Juneteenth or other equivalent kinds of holidays. I know in Virginia, where my family is from, we celebrated something we called Emancipation Day. And so places around the country have celebrated this, and it has been something that people have called for as something that could unite the nation. And finally, President Joe Biden decided to make this a national holiday.
Now, as you say, awareness has been around with Juneteenth. It's increased over the years too, but Trump himself has taken credit for popularising Juneteenth, citing the backlash over his plans to hold a campaign rally on the holiday amid a national reckoning over racism and police brutality. How did the fever of the times, or how has the fever of the times contributed to this holiday being realised, do you think?
Well, I think the former president has made a lot of audacious and sometimes ridiculous claims like that. But I will say that what happened in June of 2020 had an effect on the United States, and a lot of people wanted to move us forward on the issue of race, both substantively and symbolically. And part of the symbolic healing and reckoning that we were trying to go through after the murder of George Floyd involved recognizing our past. And one of the things in our past that is an indelible mark on the United States is the legacy of slavery. And so we want to celebrate moving forward, moving past slavery. And part of that was the recognition of Juneteenth as a national holiday. There's no one person that made Juneteenth an important holiday. The only people we should be recognizing are the Africans who were enslaved, prior to emancipation.
Talk to us a bit about the cause of racial justice in America today. There have been bipartisan talks on police reform and voting rights. What are some of the most pressing issues for Black Americans, and what more needs to be done?
Well, to me, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, things like food and shelter, we have food insecurity, we have issues with housing in African American communities. We are the highest demographic for homelessness in the United States. We have the least amount of wealth. So these are the things that I think need to be addressed. We have some of the worst health outcomes and health care in the country. So those are the topics that I think need to be addressed, and they are certainly tied directly to the legacy of slavery. So while we can talk about certain things, even certain acute examples of white supremacy and white nationalism, we need to deal with certain systemic and institutionalized elements of white supremacy, which have to do with our housing, our food insecurity or insecurity, health, and many other topics.
On that point, politically, there is the impression that some Democrats fear that associating too closely with Black political aims will have them pinned as divisive or woke in the eyes of white working class and suburban voters. What chance does racial justice have in an election cycle such as this?
Well, I think the fear of that is what's holding back justice, holding back progress. And if you are a politician who does things based on fear and polls and popularity, then you're really not motivated by the right causes. You should be trying to do better for the community. And one of the things that we need to do in order to better our community and our nation is to move forward on racial justice. So anyone who operates in that kind of fear, I would, dare to say is a coward and not a good politician. I think there are many politicians out there that realize that there are people who are going to say you're woke regardless of what you do because they just oppose you, and they oppose moving our country forward and want to move our country backward. So this fear of the term woke, which, by the way, started in the Black community as a word that meant recognizing injustice. it's been transformed by the right-wing media. And it's really a sad thing that everyone has just accepted this new definition, and it shows the disrespect and disregard people have for black communities.
Language certainly has proven powerful at the moment. Thank you very much for that, Jason, for your insight. Jason Nichols for us there from the University of Maryland, College Park.